I bought the HOA, Margaret.
Decided me beetle dating.
This is illegal. You'll regret this.
The Lakefront Conspiracy, a tale of revenge and redemption. The morning of September 21st, 2024, was supposed to be the pinnacle of my life. I had driven to our family cabin on Willow Lake at 4:30 a.m., the air crisp with Colorado's autumn chill, to put the final touches on a marriage proposal a year in the making. The cabin, built by my great-grandfather in 1952, stood as a testament to love, its main beam etched with the words, "Forever begins here." My great-grandfather proposed to my great-grandmother there in 1954, my grandfather to my grandmother in 1978, and today was meant to be my turn with Emily, my partner of 6 years. But as I strung the last fairy light in the gazebo, police lights pierced the dawn, and a demolition crew began tearing down my carefully crafted setup. Margaret Hensley, the HOA president, stood smirking with a clipboard, claiming my cabin had been sold through foreclosure. Little did she know, I had just bought the entire HOA block for $8.5 million, and the people trying to erase my family's legacy were about to become my tenants. The cabin on Willow Lake was more than a building. It was a shrine to 3 generations of love. My great-grandfather, a Korean War veteran, built it with his own hands, hauling timber and laying stones while writing love letters to my great-grandmother. He carved "Forever Begins Here" into the main beam the night before he proposed, creating a landmark that defined our family's story. My grandfather added the gazebo in 1978, a cedar masterpiece designed to frame the lake's sunset glow, where he proposed to my grandmother under golden aspens. I spent 10 months planning my proposal to Emily, an event planner whose eye for detail matched my architectural precision. The gazebo was adorned with starlight-mimicking lights, handcrafted furniture, and a secret compartment hiding my great-grandmother's engagement ring boxa mahogany heirloom that survived wars and weathered decades. But at 6 a.m., chaos erupted. Margaret, in a cream designer coat and pristine boots, directed workers to dismantle the gazebo with industrial efficiency. The fairy lights I'd hung were ripped down, the stone pathway I'd laid was uprooted, and the ring box was tossed into a debris pile like trash. Margaret's cold smile and clipped tone as she said, "You no longer own this property," cut deeper than the sledgehammers. Beside her stood Victor Langston, a slick real estate mogul in a tailored suit, clutching what looked like legitimate foreclosure papers. Deputy Tom Reynolds, a high school friend, looked uneasy, his radio crackling with other calls as he held documents listing $32,847 in HOA violations, dock maintenance, unapproved lighting, noise complaints, and aesthetic disruptions. The papers were meticulous, with photos and dates that painted me as a negligent owner who ignored warnings for 8 months. I stood frozen, watching my family's legacy reduced to rubble. Emily was due in 3 hours for what she thought was a casual lake walk. The demolition was no accident. It was timed to coincide with the foreclosure sale, orchestrated to destroy not just my property, but my proposal and our family tradition. Margaret and Victor believed they'd won, unaware that 47 hours earlier, I had closed an $8.5 million deal to buy all 41 properties in Block 7 of Willow Lake Estates, including Margaret's $2.1 million lakefront mansion. As the crew loaded my handcrafted furniture into trucks, I let them dig their hole deeper, savoring the moment I'd reveal the truth. The violations began 8 months ago, right after Emily and I started planning the proposal. Margaret, somehow privy to our plans through her network of wedding vendors, issued citations for trivial infractions, dock repairs, lighting that had been grandfathered in for decades, and construction noise during legal hours. Each fee was calculated to push the total past Colorado's $30,000 HOA foreclosure threshold, with late fees and interest compounding the debt. I appealed every charge, but the process seemed designed to stall. My architectural training taught me to read property deeds like novels, and I noticed irregularities in Margaret's Empire Shell companies, suspicious transfers, and a pattern of foreclosures targeting romantic venues. 6 weeks ago, Emily's connections in the event planning world revealed a chilling trend. 12 properties across Colorado had been foreclosed using identical violation schemes. Digging deeper, I found that Margaret owned 8 Block 7 properties through LLCs, including her mansion. When Pinnacle Resorts, the original developer, filed for bankruptcy, I saw my chance. My firm, Merit Designs, had a 30-year relationship with Colorado Mountain Bank. With a $12 million credit line, I secured an $8.5 million loan to buy Block 7, including a clause converting pending sales into leases. Victor's $50,000 purchase of my cabin became a $4,200 monthly lease, and Margaret's mansion now owed me $8,500 a month in rent. As the demolition continued, I confronted Margaret. "You might want to check the ownership of Block 7 from the last 48 hours, I said calmly. Her clipboard slipped, her face paling as the truth hit. Victor's phone call ended abruptly, his confidence crumbling. Deputy Reynolds, checking county records, confirmed my ownership. The crew paused, tools idle, as the power dynamic shifted. Emily arrived early, her silver Honda pulling up behind the police cruisers. Seeing the wreckage, she understood instantly. I retrieved the ring box from the debris, brushed off the sawdust, and dropped to one knee. In front of Margaret, Victor, the crew, and Reynolds, I proposed. Emily's tearful yes mingled joy with fury, and she vowed we'd rebuild stronger. The applause from the crew, who realized they'd been misled, was drowned out by Margaret's desperate attempt to save face. She called an emergency tenant meeting, rallying Block 7 residents against the corporate predator who'd stolen their neighborhood. But the lease agreements, mailed 46 hours earlier, were already sparking panic. Residents, clutching identical documents, realized their landlord had changed overnight. Margaret's navy suit and practiced authority couldn't hide her desperation as neighbors demanded answers. Emily's event planning instincts kicked in. Inspecting the community center, she noted safety violations: faulty outlets, painted over exit signs, locked fire extinguishers that would have shut down any venue she managed. As Margaret ranted, Emily cataloged evidence. I exercised my landlord rights, ordering inspections that uncovered 17 code violations in Margaret's mansion alone, from unsafe deck railings to a hazardous hot tub. Victor's background check revealed a history of fraud: 2 felony convictions, 3 civil judgments, and a restraining order. His $50,000 payment came from a suspicious account tied to money laundering. Margaret escalated, contacting Channel 9 News to paint me as a greedy architect exploiting hard-working families. The crew arrived expecting a David versus Goliath story, but I was ready with evidence of a massive fraud network. The 6:17 p.m. broadcast, headlined "Architect's Revenge Proposal Shocks Colorado," exploded online. A bystander's video of my proposal amid the debris went viral, amassing 25 million views by morning. Hashtags like "Love Conquers Greed" and "Stop Landlord Bullying" fueled debates about romance, justice, and real estate ethics. International outlets, from the BBC to Japanese TV, covered the story, dubbing it the Great American Proposal Revenge. Emily launched the Love Prevails Coalition website, crowdsourcing reports of similar frauds. Within hours, 247 couples from 31 states reported identical schemes targeting romantic properties: anniversary cabins, proposal venues, honeymoon cottages. The geographic spread and emotional targeting pointed to a sophisticated network. An anonymous tip to the Denver FBI exposed Heartbreak Holdings, a $180 million enterprise stealing equity from 2,200 properties. Margaret, the Western Regional Director, earned bonuses for maximizing emotional damage, timing foreclosures to coincide with proposals, anniversaries, and even chemotherapy schedules. FBI raids hit 47 properties across 12 states, seizing 400 boxes of documents and 12 servers. The Misery algorithm analyzed social media and vendor data to target vulnerable couples, scheduling violations for maximum psychological impact. Margaret's childhood trauma, her parents' divorce, and a stepfather's destruction of sentimental items fueled her vendetta against happy couples. Her 3 failed marriages deepened her bitterness, making her attacks on romantic milestones a twisted form of revenge. The federal trial in Denver drew hundreds of victims. Couples carried photos of lost properties, filling courtrooms with stories of stolen dreams. Margaret's composure broke when confronted by Ellen and George Harper, An elderly couple whose 50th anniversary cabin was foreclosed during George's heart surgery recovery. Her admission that happy couples reminded her of her pain stunned the gallery. She received 28 years for RICO violations. Victor received 15 years after cooperating. The $183 million restitution fund from seized assets helped victims reclaim properties. Congress passed Emma's law, mandating HOA oversight and protections against fraudulent foreclosures. Block 7 became forever late commons, with families buying back homes at fair prices using restitution funds. Margaret's mansion transformed into Second Chance's venue, a free event space for fraud victims. Merit Designs expanded, restoring romantic venues nationwide. The Love Prevails Coalition grew into a permanent support network, aiding 1,247 couples in rebuilding. Our wedding, on September 21, 2025, drew 800 guests to the rebuilt gazebo. Under my great-grandfather's carved beam, Emily and I vowed to protect others' love stories. The video became the most-watched love story online, hitting 100 million views. The cabin earned a Colorado Historical Landmark plaque, reading Triumph of Love, September 2024. The Love Conquers All Festival drew 50,000 visitors, boosting local businesses by $15 million. During our first anniversary, Emily announced our pregnancy, ensuring the fourth generation would carry on the legacy. What do you think about fighting back against bullies who wield power unjustly? Have you faced a situation where you felt powerless against greed or corruption? Share your thoughts in the comments below whether you believe love and justice can triumph or have doubts about standing up to systemic abuse. Your perspective matters, and I'd love to hear where you stand.